Welcome everybody to the podcast known as Ridin the
Ride the
Pine.
pine.
That's my line.
Too bad. It's my line today.
We have an official contract.
No, we don't. There is no contract. We have 14 subscribers. There's no contract.
Or I have a piece of paper I forged your signature on.
Do you? Where?
I would give up the point if I
Because
told
because
you.
I because I can forge your signature. It's the easiest thing in the world.
Well, after we've given this away, let's hope this episode does better than our last episode, and I think we're already off to a good start.
Our last episode had like 9 views.
They're probably all Aaron.
Yeah, that's my guess. Most of them are probably Aaron, but he didn't tell me that he watched it. But typically, he does tell me he watches it while he's in the bathroom. So
He's our biggest fan, so
yeah, he's our biggest fan. He doesn't know what we're talking about, but he tunes in every week.
shout out to Aaron for being a G.
Shout out to Aaron for bringing me Timbits the other day.
You know who doesn't watch our podcast?
Who?
Shoebomb.
Yeah, Shuby definitely doesn't watch.
So if I talk trash about him, he won't even know it.
That's true. We can talk trash about him, but we're not going to talk trash about the Sweet Prince. No, won't allow it.
Note. Wait, some people have already turned this off if they are watching. They're like, "Oh, these guys are rambling."
Yeah, fair. Damn.
What do we got to talk about today, Drake?
Oh no, I'm kind of thinking maybe we should just you know, take it easy this week. Talk about what's been going on in the first week of hockey. Who's looking good? Who's looking bad? Whose stock is really up right now, and who's is down in the gutter? What do you think?
I don't know about you, but it felt like the preseason went on forever.
Yeah, and now we're already through the first week. It took no time whatsoever.
Yeah, that was a long preseason, and we're already like 4 or 5 games into the regular, like for each team, 4 or 5 games into the season now, and
There's no way anybody has 5 games.
we're pretty
Our
close.
Ducks, I think, have only played one game.
And they're 1-0. Somehow they won against the Canes.
Yeah, it's because the Ducks they're good.
It's those sexy jerseys that did it for them.
Oh my God, those jerseys were so nice.
They're so good. I don't know why they
They're
don't wear those full
beautiful.
time.
Oh, even just the colors. I mean, those colors are beautiful.
They are pretty perfect.
Yeah, I want them.
So where do you think we should start off here?
I don't know. Do you want to talk about who's hitting, who's not hitting?
Yeah, I think a good point to start off would be the a team everybody seems to be touting for a cup favorite, and then they got blown out 8-1 in their season opener. The Edmonton Oilers, everybody.
Oh, yeah. No, the Oilers, I mean, they're winning right now. Knock on wood. Leon Draisaitl is the worst thing to happen to the Predators since Chris Hansen. So, I mean, I guess that's got to count for something. But
Why
they've
don't you take a
paid
seat over there?
what?
Why don't you take a seat over there?
Yeah. Hey, Barry, how about you take a seat over there, Barry?
Two
What?
words. Role playing chat room, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. No. The Oilers have been they've been something. That's for sure. They've definitely been a team. Not a good team. They're actually a pretty bad team to start the season. First two. I mean, it's only 2 games, so I mean, it's not much to worry. But there's definitely some glaring issues they need to fix.
Do you see that goal that McDavid just scored in the first period, though?
I did not because I was in the shower.
You should go see that.
All right, I'll go watch it. Give me one
It's
second.
it's maybe one of the nastier things that's
You
happened
you
recently.
you said the McDavid one?
Yeah, it should be on the NHL page.
No, I'm looking. Draisaitl, Hyman, Nuge, McDavid. Oh my God, it was 4-0 by the end of the first. Okay, let's watch this. Oh, I'm getting a Schneider's commercial.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, he burnt his toast.
sponsor us.
Please, Schneider's, please.
I will eat my
Schneider's
fair
deli
share of
meats. Okay,
glizzies
let's
if you
see.
sponsor us. It's the fourth goal.
Yeah, that's what I'm watching. Oh my God, what a spin! Jeez. Yeah, no, McDavid's back. That must mean my fantasy is doing good this week. Let's
I
see. Am I
watched.
winning? Are you winning, son? I am not. I'm actually winning right now. The only issue is the other guy has got like 5 games on me this week.
I saw that goal while eating an omelet.
You were eating an omelet. What kind of omelet? What was in the omelet?
Ham.
Nice.
It
No
was very
cheese.
good. There was cheese in there too.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you gotta have cheese. Yeah, I'm
Anywho,
currently losing as well.
yeah, any hoozle. I mean, with the Oilers, I mean, their offense, well, clearly their offense was not clicking against the Canucks in the first game of the season at all. The Canucks absolutely pile drive them. Like the word shelling doesn't even begin to uh to talk about that. It was a dumpster fire on ice. The defense was absolutely brutal. They were getting walked constantly. Thatcher Demko was on drugs. The goalies, Campbell, Skinner, bless their hearts. Bless Campbell's heart, not Skinner. Skinner's throwing in fantasy for me. Um, yeah, they have not had a good start to the season this year at all. You know,
And
it's in a situation where all offseason people were talking about how the Oilers might go get a new goalie. Maybe, and they decided, you know what, let's commit to the 2 guys we have, and it has not worked to start so far.
my favorite part was they come home. Oilers come home for their home opener. Uh, they come out absolutely on fuego. Draisaitl scores a minute in, and they still find a way to lose
Yeah, Stuart Skinner's throwing to start the season.
in regulation.
Campbell's the official starter.
They lost in regulation. They didn't even get a point from either of those games because it
Yeah,
was a 4-3 final, but they lost in regulation, so no points.
I just like to point out to Oilers fans that Mackenzie Blackwood actually was available in the offseason. And he's actually playing really well. So I just wanted to rub that in a little bit that there was an offer there and you guys opted not to do it. And he was one of the season's favorite, absolutely random goalie has the game of his life. And the Oilers are sitting there with Skinner and Campbell. And it's not looking good. Like you gotta hope that the two of them find a way to bounce back. It looks like Campbell is now, but you gotta hope that both of them bounce back. Or like Edmonton's in a lot of trouble because it's not like their defense is very strong.
You know what goalie like that's playing absolutely out of his mind right now?
Thatcher Demko,
Not Demko,
UC Saros,
not Saros.
Andre Vasilevsky.
You're never gonna get it. Have you
What?
watched any of Peter Mrazek's games this year?
Oh my God, Peter Mrazek is killing people.
Where was this before?
Well, I mean that was him in Carolina. You need to understand the fact that Peter Mrazek's one of the streakiest goalies in the league. He can go from being like an absolute stud one season to being a dumpster fire the next season to back to being a stud again. Right? Like he's just incredibly streaky. That's all that is. Because he was good, I think, in his last year in Detroit. Wasn't that great in Philly. He was good in Carolina. Wasn't good in Toronto. Had a rough year last year, and now he's good again. That's just the Peter Mrazek effect. He's like a discount Marc-Andre Fleury. No, you know what other goalies absolutely like off his rocker this year? Jordan Binnington.
Oh, Bennington's off his rocker, all right.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, he normally is, but like he's on fire to start the season. Like he's a new man this year. He looks like vintage cup run Binnington.
Bennington's only good when he comes in halfway during the season. So at the deadline, sorry, St. Louis, he's not going to be good.
Yeah, most likely. Something about St. Louis goalies. I mean, Jake Allen had like the game of his life last week, so did he let in, was it like 6 goals? Yeah. Was it his fault? No.
A couple of them are pretty soft,
I don't know.
but
I mean,
I wouldn't blame
Jake Allen
him.
played pretty good that game.
He has an AHL defense in front of him. Speaking of which, one of them, my group chat's blowing up right now because Caden Gooley got injured. Habs
Is
fans
Caden
on
Gooley
suicide
injured?
watch. He already is, yeah.
Oh my
As
God.
of
So
tonight.
Caden Gooley's out
Yep.
and Kirby Doc was listed
And
as out for probably the season with an
and Doc's
MCL and
done.
an ACL tear. Like it must suck to be Habs fans. 3 games into the season, you already washed. One of your probably your most promising young defenseman and your most promising young forward right now for breakouts, and they're
Give
both.
it give it 10 games and Cole Caulfield's gonna be out.
Yeah, Cole Caulfield will be done, and then shortly after that, it'll be
Slavkovsky.
yeah, Slavkovsky will be out again, and then Weidman will play the whole 82 anyway.
And then the Leafs will call up an emergency goalie when they play the Habs, and he'll absolutely lose his mind.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Where have we seen this play out before?
I don't know. Trying to
I don't
think.
know.
Oh yes, last year. Last year, Leafs signed the emergency goalie. They throw him out for like 2 minutes, and Chris Weidman goes absolutely mental. But it's funny. Did you ever read the comments afterwards though?
Refresh my memory.
So people are in there, right? And they're like, man, you suck. Like, you're awful. Like, you don't belong in the NHL. And goes, well, yeah. Why do you think I make league minimum?
I
Or
respect that
he's
at
like,
least.
hey, I mean, he's like, you're saying that, but you think I don't know I suck? Like, come on.
It was the only time he made headlines, anyways.
Yeah. Well, no, that's a lie. When he signed with the Habs, he made headlines in Montreal because everybody was acting like he was the Messiah initially. And I'm like, yeah, you're not gonna like this, but Weidman's not gonna be that guy for you. He'll be nice to have in your bottom pair. That's about it.
He's not him.
He is not.
Is there anybody who surprised you so far?
Anybody that's spread well, Austin Matthews for one.
Oh
Austin,
yeah.
it took him 12 games last year to score 6 goals. This year it took him 2. Before last night, he was on pace for 246 goals, and I almost thought he was going to do it.
Well, he didn't score against Chicago last night, so he's not getting the Richard.
No, he's not. If he can't score on Arvid Soderblom, there's definitely a problem. Um,
Another
I
Chicago
actually got a
goalie that just
duo.
played well.
I got a duo that's really surprising too. It's Crosby and Malkin. The
Yeah,
two of them look vintage this year. Like they turned back the clock 10 years or something. Malkin's already joking that he wants the heart.
Crosby's showing no signs of slowing down. Even
Yeah,
at an older age, he's still, it's not Sid the Kid style, but I mean, the dude is just at a different level than everybody else, and
yeah. Well, so is Malkin
it's
though.
amazing. Oh,
Malkin's
Malkin's
going
great too.
absolutely mental this year.
Yeah,
I don't like Pittsburgh turned it back. They're right back at the top of the division again. It's like nothing changed. The only issue is that their bottom six is kind of shaky.
Dubas is sitting in his cave, crackling to himself.
Yeah, he's waiting. He's waiting.
Oh yeah,
Actually, I mean, he made a trade today. Actually,
oh yeah.
yeah, it was an absolute blockbuster. Let me go pull it up quickly. Right, like
I
it
just
was one of the
remember
biggest trades of the season.
Jake Rathbone.
Yeah, it was
Such a great
it was
last name.
Art Friedman and Ty Glover for Jack Rathbone and Karel Plasek. Like that's one of the trades of all time.
It's huge.
I mean, from Pittsburgh, I'm curious what Pittsburgh's up to going after Rathbone. There's clearly something they're up to because I mean Rathbone he really hasn't put it together um, in Vancouver. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see Friedman going to Vancouver. Like this is looking like a trade that it didn't really make. It didn't seem like either team was really going to make, and I don't really see where it fits their needs right yet. But I mean, it definitely could.
Okay, Dubas is always cooking.
Yeah. Well, except for that Tavares contract.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I mean, the Tavares contract, though, is it not good? Yeah. Is Tavares good? Yeah. Is Tavares a good captain? Yeah. Turns out Matthew Nyes and Fraser Minton are living with him right now.
I saw that. He's basically turned into Patrick Marlowe.
Yeah, well, he's sitting there, he's talking, he's like, what's awesome, when I came into the league and, I was living with Doug Waite, it's nice to see that, careers come full circle. You know, now I got Frazier and Matthew living with me, they're like best buds. The kids love it. You know, I mean, how can you not love that, man? How can you not love that in a captain?
Oh yeah. I mean, Tavares, he's a quieter captain, but there's nothing about that man that doesn't scream captain.
Yeah, there's like nothing bad about him as a person.
We love
He's
John
not like Blake
Tavares.
Wheeler where you bully the entire dressing room.
The uh the Islanders fan base probably disagrees with this
Yeah,
segment, but we don't care
if
about
the
the
Islanders
Islanders on this
fans
podcast.
if the Islanders fans are still mad about that, they like I don't know, like you need to find something new to be mad at. That happened like 7 years ago now.
We
Like just
don't need
relax.
you. Remember when the Leafs got a win in the new Islanders arena before they did?
Yeah.
Remember when they scored more goals? Like they shut them out on the first game in their new arena.
We don't need you. We don't need you. We don't need you.
Maybe they needed them.
Yeah, it's kind of looking like that because I mean their first line center and Matthew Barzal, he's kind of allergic to shooting the puck. You know who did score last night in Chicago? John Tavares.
Number
John is that
91,
guy.
John Tavares.
Johnny Toronto himself.
Yeah, I mean, even at his lowest, he's still almost a point a game.
Yeah, well, exactly, right? Like nobody talks about it, but like Tavares' production like has not changed over the
No,
years. He's always been in and around the point per game area, but never, he's never gone crazy above, but he's never been crazy below either. He's always been in that general like 10-point range of it.
and that's just the duality. Like Toronto fans, speaking as one, are just their expectations are way too high. It's like they were complaining about Tavares' production, yet he quietly had an 80-point season that year. Like, come on. If that's your worst, it's the same thing as Matthews. When Matthews had a 40-goal season, that was considered quiet for Matthews.
Yeah, if
It's
40 goals is considered
crazy.
quiet, I don't know, man. But it's funny because everybody's like, oh well, Matthews is washed, he's fallen off. I'm like, but 40 is his typical range anyway. I'm like, he was more so a consistent 40, 40, 50 guy. I mean, he did 60 once, but he was also the first guy to hit 60 since what, Stamkos? Ovechkin? One of them.
Which one was last? I think it was
It was
Stammer.
one of the two, right? But like Matthews was the first guy to do it. I mean, did McDavid one up him the following year? Yeah. But I mean, like, come on, man. But you know who else has looked like a man remade? Brock Besser.
Oh yeah,
4-goal night against the Oilers. Back to the Oilers again. They were waiting to fire Stuart Skinner into the moon that night. And you let Brock Besser score on you 4 times. Garland had a goal or two. Like they killed him. I mean, like Brock Besser, I don't think anybody was expecting him to score 4 goals because like him and Garland are like always on the trade block. And somehow apparently Garland's still on the trade block despite the fact he's been good in Vancouver this year. It doesn't make sense.
a 4.4 goal night from Brock Besser. I think him heating up is exactly what that team needs.
I
They
think I think
they've been
everything's
pretty
coming together for them this year. Ekman Larsson's gone. Thatcher Demko is like peak. They got their captain now. Their top forwards are all producing. Their defense is a little bit weird looking, but somehow it actually isn't that bad. So I mean, yeah, no, like Vancouver is going to be something else this year, I think.
yeah, I mean they realistically could be a wild card team. Who knows?
I mean, they could be higher than a wild card. I mean, the Kings have looked not so great. Their goaltending is like absolutely putrid right now. The Kraken, I don't think have even recorded a win yet. Their offense is dried up.
Yeah, I don't think they
The
have.
Oilers are bottom of the league still. So I mean, that leaves Vegas. Which I mean, Vegas. I mean, Vegas is like the only one in right now because I mean they haven't had a cup hangover at all. They
They
just
haven't
picked up
lost once yet.
No, they just picked up where they left off. If not, they're better because now Aiden Hill is just that guy.
Them and the Avs are
Yeah, the Avs are looking really good this year too.
both of them haven't lost yet this year.
I'm pretty sure the Bruins haven't lost either.
Bruins, Stars.
Yeah, let me see. Let's go look. Which is really funny to say the Bruins haven't lost a game yet this year, given the fact that we were absolutely trashing them. So let's see. The Avs have not lost a game. You want to guess who's second in the Central right now?
In the Central.
Yeah,
It's gonna be somebody weird. I know.
yeah.
I have no idea.
It's the Chicago Blackhawks.
That's what I was thinking. I was trying
Yeah,
to put it together though.
yeah. The Blues haven't lost in regulation yet.
Really?
Nope. Um, oh wait, this is the entire West I'm looking at here. My bad. Um, the Stars have a perfect record, but they've also only played one game.
Oh
The
well,
Kings have not won a
that's
game
easy
yet.
enough.
The Sharks have not won a game. The Kraken haven't won a game. The Oilers haven't won a game. Right? And then you got Vegas, right, is 3-0. Vancouver is 2-1-0, and Calgary is 1-1-1.
Wow.
And then yeah, you go to the Atlantic. The Bruins are haven't lost a game yet. Both Detroit and Ottawa are 2-1-0. Toronto is 2-1-0, but they have a lower goal differential. Carolina's 2-1-0. The Habs are 1-0-1. The Devils are 1-1-1. The Islanders have not lost a game yet. The Capitals are 1-1-0. The Lightning are 1-2-0. Apparently, they're missing Vasilevsky. Same as the Panthers, same as the Blue Jackets, and Sabres are winless. And then the Penguins, the Flyers, and the Rangers are somehow 2-1-0.
Jeez.
Why? Someone here, there's an imposter among us here. Why is Philadelphia third in the division?
Well, it's early. That's all I could say.
Imagine Philadelphia doesn't fall off.
That would be probably one of the most random uh I don't know what to call it. One of
I
the most
don't know. It'd be
randomest
very
standings
exciting.
since the Devils last year.
Oh my God, honestly, yeah, they would be like this year's Devils.
Yeah,
And you know what? Honestly, I'm all for it. If the Flyers keep doing it, why not?
they've lived in misery this long, If they
Yep,
figure out
yeah.
a way to come back up, they deserve it.
Flyers fans need this.
You know, they have
They
to live
they've
in
been through a
Philly.
lot of
So
pain. They need a couple wins.
yeah, I I got nothing against that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, there's another team that's really it's weird. They're not good, but they're not bad. But the Toronto Maple Leafs, I know you've been watching them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's definitely a couple glaring problems on that team right now. Right? They were supposed to come out looking like cup contenders. They barely made it past the Habs. They shell the Wild, and they fail to muster more than one goalie in Chicago. Like, what's going on?
They just squeaked past. Despite the score in the Wild game, there were points where they were actually behind in that game. It
Yeah, they
was
need
just,
Matthews to wake up again.
it was at one point, it was like they were firing on a soccer net and everything was going in. That game is closer than the score indicated.
Yeah, so what, like, I mean, like, I know, like, I watched the first game. The other two I haven't seen because I've been at work, right? But I know that their defense has been really shaky. Um,
They let Corey
well,
Perry in on a breakaway last night.
yeah, their goaltending is just real. I mean, their defense is just really shaky, and their bottom six is just kind of eh.
Yeah,
Like, it's quiet, right? And they're not really gelling together, right? Like, Bertuzzi, Matthews, Marner, they're mainly just doing their own things. Domi's just kind of doing his own thing away from his line. Minton, I really like Minton, but he's kind of doing his own thing. The line that looks the most gelled right now is the fourth line.
I think what they need to do, I think send Minton back for another year in the W.
I think he was going back anyway.
Bring up Holmberg and try and bolster some more experience on that line. He had a handful of games last year. He
And
was
if
solid.
Hallberg struggles,
We'll find another
time to
Marner.
make a trade already? Not even 10 games in, time to make a trade? Or
I don't even think they can afford a trade right now.
no, they'd have to find a way to make money.
They got to trade people away before they can do that.
Yeah, apparently everybody's trying to trade because the Oilers might be going for a goalie. People are connecting like Swayman, apparently.
Interesting.
The
I can see
Leafs
that.
are the Leafs probably need a defenseman and a third line centerman. Uh, and I mean, there's a couple guys that have been like scratched and benched the last couple nights. It's been weird. Because I think it was last night, Timo Meyer and Damon Severson were both scratched in the third period or benched. Jeff Petrie was scratched the other night, and then they proceeded to obliterate the Blue Jackets. Uh, Anthony Mantha was benched the other night or scratched, and Victor Olofsson was scratched tonight. It's kind of interesting to see. We're barely even 2 games into the season, and guys are already getting scratched and benched.
There's some interesting names in there too.
And Kent Johnson. Kent Johnson got scratched the other night too because he
That's a
wasn't
weird one.
working hard enough. Apparently,
I thought Babcock left that team.
he did. Pascal Vincent is just the new Babcock. Apparently.
Who had Kent Johnson on their list as the least hardest worker?
Oh, sorry, that was me. My bad.
Oh
Like,
man.
it's really interesting. Like, yeah, I mean, like Timo Meyer, he hasn't really, he's kind of been disappointing since he showed up in New Jersey anyway. Olafson's been kind of, disappointing since like his second year. He hasn't really been the same guy as his rookie season. Mantha, hasn't really been that great in Washington. Jeff Petrie is just old. Um, and so apparently, maybe the Detroit Red Wings, you think, already regretting trading for him?
I would be surprised. I'm surprised they acquired him in the first place.
Well, so was I because they already had seven defense, or they already had six, or no, they did have seven, right?
And one
Because
of them was Justin Hall.
apparently Justin Hall is playing well this year. The Red
And
Wings fans are praising Justin Hall
it,
as
it won't
like
last.
third, their 3D. Like Justin Hall is being praised in Detroit right now for his defensive ability. Where was he in Toronto?
It wasn't his first year. People liked him in his first year, and then he fell off hard.
Yeah, but like that's the weird thing though, because now he's in Detroit. Everybody talked crap about Justin Hall all year last year, right? Including the Red Wings fans. Now he's in Detroit. Red Wings fans love this man. What happened?
He's gonna score a hat trick against the Leafs when he comes back. You know that.
You totally know he will,
Oh yeah.
right? But like it's so interesting because Detroit, they're already rolling with Moritz Seider, Jake Wallman. We've already talked about this too. Justin Hall, Shane Gostisbehere, Oli Mata,
Ben Sherratt.
and Ben Sherratt. And then you got Simone Edvinsson right there too. What's the point of going out and getting Jeff Petrie on top of it? Because you're going to have to play Jeff Petrie.
I think they just want that veteran presence on their blue line, but there's probably
What
better
veteran presence
options.
on the blue line? He was scratched.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't really do anything for veteran presence. Dude got scratched.
They'll provide it from the bench.
Yeah, apparently. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to think
Orange
Detroit might
side
already
down.
be regretting that. What'd you say?
I said orange side down.
Yeah, apparently.
That's the veteran presence he
Yeah,
gives.
no, they're definitely regretting that trade already. If he's already been overtaken. How the mighty have fallen. Remember when he was like a god on skates in Montreal that one year? And then he fell off. He went to Pittsburgh, fell off even more, and then went back to Montreal and then got flipped again.
Yeah, he didn't want to be in Montreal again,
Was
apparently.
it he didn't want to be in Montreal or Montreal didn't want him?
I heard he didn't want to be there.
I mean, would you?
Certainly not. I feel
Right?
like
I mean,
there's
in
curse
Montreal,
on
it was
everybody
both.
there right now. I'd probably have a broken leg if I was in there.
Well, yeah, and there's no purpose on being in Montreal anyway because they already have like 6 or 7 young defensemen that are better than Jeff Petrie
Yeah, literally.
and Arbor Jack guy.
Well, they only have five now.
Yeah, Arbor Jack guy likes to just push people over nets.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a good fight. Reeves beat him.
Yeah, he was on
Actually,
3G at that point.
you sure it's only 5 in Montreal? I feel like we're missing somebody.
Well, Gooley got injured.
Yeah, we
That's why I
got
said
Barron.
five.
Well, you got Barron. You got Weidman. You got Barron and Weidman. Barron. Weidman. Who is even who Harris? Who is even in Montreal right now on their defense group? Let's go look. You got Justin Barron, Caden Gooley, Jordan Harris, Jonathan Kovacevic, Mike Matheson, David Savard, Chris Weidman, and Arbor Jacki. That is not a strong defensive group.
That is a liability.
I mean, yeah, but I mean they've won a game, so it can't be that bad. They're third in the Atlantic right now, or not third. They're third in the wild card race in the East right now.
It won't last.
No, it won't. Just feel like the Leafs won't be a wild card the whole time. Imagine the Leafs are a wild card the whole time. The top
I'd just
five
be more
teams,
interested to see who would be ahead of them.
dude, 4 of the top 5 teams in the East right now are all 2-0-1.
Yeah.
The only thing separating them is their goal differential. One's 5, one's 4, one's 1, and one is 0.
Samsonov needs to tighten it up.
He does. Which is funny because everybody was I was on my fantasy today. I saw like everybody drop Joseph Wall, right? Like it's like 5,000 people dropped Joseph Wall. From what I heard like last night, apparently he just played, your average Joseph Wall game and nobody helped the guy.
Yeah, I only watched the third last night, but that sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, why? How did you go from being one of the better teams defensively last year to one of the worst ones this year? What broke?
Maybe Justin Hall was the key.
Imagine. Imagine Justin Hall was the key the whole time. Everybody was, mistreating the guy. Turns out he was the X factor in Toronto the whole time.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Well, I mean, I'm curious though, because if they're going for a defenseman, I think I know who they're going for.
Yeah,
They're going for Brad Treliving's favorite player, Nikita Zadorov.
maybe.
As soon as he went to Toronto, immediately it was reported that Treliving was trying to get Zadorov out of Calgary.
Did he request a trade?
No, no, it's just Treliving loves Nikita Zadorov, so he wants him. I don't know what the
If
Leafs give up, but somehow I have a feeling it's going to be like Timothy Liljegren.
better not be Liljegren's been the only good defenseman this year.
Oh, it's a lie. Morgan Riley's looked fine.
Yeah, Mo's good.
And Klingberg's looked really good too.
Klingberg's had some shaky moments, but for the most part, I think
Yeah,
he's getting too much ice
he's
time.
never
That's the
really
problem.
been a great defensive guy,
It's the problem
but his
I have with
offense is
Klingberg
much
right
needed.
now.
No, but they do have a problem. TJ Brody wiping out, and just kind of letting people walk him, and then Jake McCabe doing the same thing.
It feels like
Yeah,
every
I love
time
it.
I look out on the ice, I see number 3.
And he's probably getting walked.
I heard Chris Cuthbert call him Hall last night. It was kind of funny.
Imagine.
I mean, to be fair, when I see his number, I still think of Hall.
I do
Still.
not think of Hall because I know that Hall is gone.
No, I just remember seeing number 3 and getting frustrated so much, and it still kind of resonates with me. I see Klingberg out there, and I feel pulse in my forehead go off a little bit.
Oh my God! Wow, the poor guy. Like, dude was a legit defenseman, and now you're like, he makes you mad. Like, damn.
It's just too bad because it's like he seemed like he was absolutely loved in the locker room and by management. I don't want to talk
Well,
trash
I
about
mean,
him, but he was
have you
just
ever have you ever watched the video that Marner did when they asked him who he would miss the most?
yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, You know what? I think I'm gonna miss Holler the most. And I'm like, okay. And then you go watch his store and he's like out to a restaurant with Justin Hall. He's like, yeah, kind of cute. He's kind of cute. Should I do something? Apparently, it was like the greatest bromance in Toronto, apparently.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of things that they seem to like him a lot, and
Yes, he's just a good guy.
yeah, it makes me feel bad saying bad things, but
It does. He seems like a nice guy.
he does.
Now, you want to talk about another Leafs defenseman, though. Just remember that last night Nikita Zaitsev drew into the lineup just to beat Toronto.
And I heard his name out there. I that was the first time I remembered he existed in some time.
It was the first time I remember that he was in Chicago.
Yeah, I didn't. He was in Ottawa last I remember.
Yeah, he was in Ottawa last year and they traded him at the deadline. I just don't remember what the trade was.
No, I
It
don't
was
remember.
what was the trade? Put him in Ottawa, Chicago. Wasn't Kubalik. That was off season.
Yeah,
Was it the DeBrincat trade?
might have been part. No,
Was Zaitsev part of the DeBrincat
DeBrincat
trade? Let's see.
DeBrincat came over at the start of the season.
Okay, I'm really curious then. Let's see. Nikita Zaitsev, Chicago trade. Senators trade Zaitsev for picks. Wait a minute. Oh, Zaitsev and picks for future considerations.
He's on the move
And
again.
despite moving that, they're still in cap hell. They still had to start the season down a man. Sebastian Pinto still isn't signed. Wait, no,
Shane
wait.
Pinto.
Shane Pinto.
You're close.
Sebastian.
I don't know where Sebastian came from.
I don't know. Shane Pinto is still unsigned. Apparently, they're trying to trade Joseph, but Philly's only going to take him if they include Ty Boucher for some reason, or a first round pick, which is weird.
Boucher.
Yeah, they want Tyler Boucher.
Why?
I don't know, but Philly's like, yeah, you know what? Like, we'll take
That dude being a
Joseph,
first
who
round pick
scored in
was
your
like,
first game, but we want Ty Boucher with that. That is their sweetener. We want Boucher or a first round pick. I'm like, in what world is Boucher valued at a first rounder?
I mean, he was picked in the first round.
That doesn't mean, would you trade
Somehow,
first round for Nail Yakupov?
I wouldn't give anything for Yakupov.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, why is he valued at a first?
Much like I probably wouldn't give much for Boucher.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So why is he the sweetener? Like, what if they turn around and they go, "Hey, like we'll offer you Kevin Mandolese"? They're gonna tell him no.
I've watched the dude.
How about Sokolov? They're gonna tell him
Oh
no.
yeah, I watched Boucher play in the O last year, and he wasn't even a standout in the O.
Yeah, well and he's been in the O 2 years and he hasn't been a standout. So I'm like, why is that I mean, Philly's
Yeah,
the land of maybe you can actually go off, but like why?
that that's one of the most puzzling things I think I've heard in a while.
It really is. I'm like I would have think they'd be like, yeah, you know what? Like we'll take Brandstrom on top of it, or we'll just take picks. And they're like, no, we want Die Boucher. If Boucher is not included, we don't want to do this deal. Let's just come on, just take Joseph for like future considerations. He's not even a bad player, man.
No, he's solid depth.
Well, exactly. And on top of it, I'm like, the where they're talking about Brandstrom being traded, right? Vancouver's been in the market for a defenseman. Apparently, they've been connected to like Andrew Peak. I could have seen like Joseph and Brandstrom going over there, and it would have been a great fit, I think.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, I really think that would be a great fit because it'd give Brandstrom a little bit of freedom to break out of that, the third pair. Joseph would slot nicely into like their bottom six. I think it'd be perfect fit,
Yeah, I can see that happening really easily.
literally. And on top, apparently Couture is still floating around the trade block. Apparently he's connected to like Boston and Washington and Columbus probably.
I don't see him being a fit in Washington one bit.
I mean,
Boston makes a
what
little
if
more
it's because
sense.
Washington's trying to move Kuznetsov, who doesn't want to be there? Couture would not be a bad fit if Kuznetsov is out of the way.
It just doesn't solve any of the problems they have.
I mean, yeah, their biggest problem is that they're old. It really
Yeah.
just solves the problem of Kuznetsov wants out, but we have nobody to replace him.
Yeah, I would put him on uh
Boston.
Boston would make sense. The Jackets
Apparently
make
Boston
sense.
apparently Boston also wants Steven Stamkos if depending on where Tampa's at midseason. We could be seeing
Good
Stamkos as
luck.
a Bruin, and that would be so cursed.
That honestly would ruin my year.
Bro, if Stamkos ends up a Bruin, like, come on, man. Like, it just doesn't look right.
I just can't picture him in any other jersey.
I could see him in a Leafs jersey.
Yeah, that doesn't seem that hard to picture. I
Yeah,
wonder why.
he looks fine in blue and white. You take him out of blue and
Yeah,
white, it just doesn't look great anymore. Which means he's probably going to end up in Philly somehow,
he's gonna
or
end
Pitt.
up in. I have no idea.
Could be Dallas. Oh, Dallas is always looking for top guys. Depending on where Detroit's at, I could see Detroit, leveraging their cap space.
You want to know a random pick?
What's a random pick?
He's gonna end up in Seattle.
Imagine Stamkos in Seattle, man.
I don't know why
What
that
would
name just
Seattle
sticks
even
out to
give
me,
up
but
for him? What would Seattle even give up?
um, I don't know. They got a few draft picks. You know what? They give up Shane Wright
Imagine they
for
trade
Stevens.
Shane Wright for Steven friggin' Stamkos, man. Honestly, that would be a win-win trade. You get Steven
Yeah,
Stamkos, who's going to like bolster your offense, and he might even sign with you. And then Tampa gets a legit top-end prospect that can play for them now.
it makes sense to me.
But I don't see a world where Seattle trades Shane Wright.
No, I don't either.
I think they're just being patient with Shane Wright.
But on paper, it makes sense.
Yeah, I could see Stamkos. Another guy that, there's a lot of question where he's going is still Phil Kessel. He's still floating around. Apparently, he still wants to play, though. But Philip is, he's just waiting patiently. What are the odds he goes back to Toronto?
I want those odds to be very high.
I would take Philip back in Toronto any day.
Me too.
He'd bolster the bottom six offense for sure. He'd probably work in the top six still, too.
He'd whip those boys back up into shape.
No, he wouldn't. He didn't want to be in shape.
Not in the shape, but
We've all
he'd get
heard the video,
he'd get
right?
their
Where
crap
Randy
together.
Carlisle shows up, right?
I'm not talking about in shape, in shape. I'm talking about getting their crap together.
No, you remember that story, right? You've heard that story
Yeah.
where Randy Carlisle shows up and it's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna do it. No, 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 no. I don't care what he wants me to do. I'm not doing it.
Our our boy our boy Tristan would be mad that he was eating shredded cheese on top of everything.
There's nothing wrong with shredded cheese.
It's lactose.
I mean, yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that. It's just mad for him.
Not gonna lie, but right before I started, I ate a slice of cheese.
How
I
was it?
literally
What kind of cheese are we talking about?
it was just marble.
Oh, okay, so it wasn't like a craft single.
No, it was one of the black diamond cheese slices.
I would have bullied you if it was like craft singles.
No,
Anybody that just eats craft singles, not melted, is weird.
I am a man of culture.
No, if you eat craft singles, like you're just weird. You cannot;
I
those can never be eaten raw. They just
no,
they
I
stick to the roof of your mouth.
the only reason I'd ever have craft singles in my fridge would be for making grilled cheese.
Same, or chili cheese dogs. But like they stick to the roof
I
of your
use
mouth.
I I use shredded cheese for chili cheese dogs.
I mean, I have shredded cheese, but I just split a craft single in half and throw it on there.
Fair enough.
Yeah, there's probably an NHLer that uses cheese on the bench.
Who do you think it would be?
Brad Marchand.
Well, the rat does find its way to the cheese.
Cheese. Oh, I just don't love the cheese.
Little David impression there.
We should never do that again.
Nah, man. When David does his cheese voice, it's amazing. He like,
Cheese.
It's terrifying.
it's the funniest thing ever. Dude just walks in, he goes,
Cheese.
It's like the most Silence of the Lambs thing I've ever seen.
Clarice. Well, have you ever heard of the Newfoundlander sequel to Silence of the Lambs?
No.
Use Be Quiet. Definitely a favorite of Dawson Mercer and Alex Newhook.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I'm sure they definitely watch Use Be Quiet.
definitely.
It's like that one video where they were explaining to everybody about about the different sayings in Newfoundland. Actually, speaking of Newfoundland, you see Cole Caulfield plays for the Growlers.
Yep. The
It's
better of
not
the
actually
two
Cole Caulfield, but he looks just like him.
the better of the two Caulfields.
Yeah, Brock Caulfield and Cole Caulfield look like they could be twins. They look like the same guy. But there's actually someone even bigger that just signed with the Growlers. You might know him. You ever hear of Saron Noel before?
Oh, Sarah Noel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know him.
He just signed with the Growlers.
Oh yeah.
Guy was like a top end NHL pick, and he's now in the Growlers. He's in the
I just
EC.
I just remember Niagara playing Oshawa in the playoffs, and he was an absolute menace.
See, I just remember that I could pick him in NHL franchise mode, and he always simmed to about an 81 overall for me.
He was an absolute menace in the playoffs. Not
Yeah, and
because he
now
went off,
he'll be a
but
menace in the ECHL.
not because he went off, but he just like goon it up.
Yeah, well now he's a menace in the ECHL. So
Growlers still have the best jerseys in the E.
I have a Growlers jersey.
I want one, but shipping to Ontario is like crazy.
Yeah, I got mine in my drawer right now. If I knew we were talking about the Growlers, I would have brought it out.
That's okay.
But I'm not getting up. I'm not wearing pants. Yeah, sorry. It's one of
That's
those
okay.
meetings. It's one of those
That's
meetings.
hit the link in the bio to find out where this goes.
Yeah, my only fans. My
Three
only
ninety
puck.
nine for
My
30
only puck
days.
account. Oh.
Well, Drake, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yes, I think we have. I'm like incredibly sore for some reason now. Apparently that run earlier, it was not it. But your boy needs to be in shape for the hockey season, so I don't know. We'll see. I walked from like the dressing room to the door to get on the ice the other day and I was already gassed.
We were winded already, eh?
I was. So it's gonna be a problem. Everybody welcome to Drake's fitness journey.
It's gonna be his new channel where
We're branching out. Ah,
I'm
see what I
gonna
did there? See what I did there?
I'm
Huh?
gonna
Yeah,
have my
funny,
own channel
funny.
talk about things you can put craft singles on, and Drake's gonna have an exercise channel.
And we're gonna be here to tell you about pickup limes while we're at it.
Pick up limes.
Pickup limes. Sorry, I'm bad at pickup limes.
Hmm.
Alrighty, well, you said it yourself.
Yeah, I think we're done here.
Yeah, it's time to go to sleep.
Everybody go home.
Go home. Nader, go home.
Hey, the movie's over. Go
No,
home.
no,
I just butchered that line, I know, but
no. We're not folding.
it's okay. If you miss us, we'll be back next week.
We will be.
Well, Drake,
Well, Martin,
it's been a dandy.
it has. Enjoy your crumpets. Thank you for riding out on Riding the Pine. We will see you next time.